So the last couple of things we need to do is to change this title. I forgot about that, but then get the state updates working with this. Because right now, if I go ahead and click each of the image, there's a state update, but all of these get highlighted, which is wrong. It's not what we want. And then secondly as well, this is not updating. So let's look at that. I will scroll back to our state object. And then we're going to create a couple of properties. So the first one I'll create is a list contain strings. This list will be our favorite IDs. So to describe what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna have a list containing the IDs of each of these cards that have been selected. And then when the state updates, we will use the condition of that to determine which of these cards get the heart or not. Fortunately, each of these programs have an ID, so we can do it based on that. So just to give an idea, if we've got our list of favorite IDs, and if we scroll down here to our list view widget, with this is favorite key, rather than just passing this, we're going to do favorite IDs, and then we'll call the contains function. And then this contains, in here we'll specify the program ID. So here we're saying, if this program ID is in our list of favorite IDs, then that means it's been marked as a favorite. So that's the first bit. The second part is looking at this bit, how we're going to update the counter for our favorites. And the way we do this is by doing favorite IDs, and then we'll just count the length of it. So if I save this, that'll still give us 0. So from here on out, we're pretty much set up and ready to go, but we just now need to write the functionality that will handle the behavior we want. So to do that, I will amend this function here. And what this function will do is it will accept an ID when we run this function. And then this ID will be used to determine whether to select it as a favorite or not. So we'll do something like string, and then we'll say favorite ID. And that means I'll come down here to modify this function, our Untapped function. And what we'll do here is when we tap on this program card, we want to run update favorite, at which point we can pass in this program ID. So I'll save that. And at this point, what happens if I go ahead and click each of these? Okay, nothing happens yet. I'll get rid of this as well. Wait, actually, let me bring it back. Let me do a hot restart briefly and see what happens when I, okay, what happens when I click that? Okay, So we're not there yet. Which brings us to this method. So we need to define the actual behavior. And the behavior is as follows. We're going to check that our favorite IDs contains this particular favorite ID that was passed across. So if it already contains it, that means we marked it as a favorite, at which point we can remove it from our list of favorite IDs. Such, and then let's put this within the set state call, because the minute update that we want our tree of widgets to redraw itself to show the update on the screen. And then we'll have an else block, which means that it's not in our list yet, at which point we'll just do favorite IDs.add favorite ID. So at this point, several things should take place. We are able to mark items as favorite. The state updates, our tree of widgets draw again, and then our counter updates because we're taking in the length. We are just outputting the length of this list. So everything pretty much happens in a reactive manner. You can say that we have our working full app. Okay. And lastly, let's just change this title here. So our homepage takes in title prop, and then we just set it to all shows. And that should give us that. So if you've got to this part, then congratulations, we now have our Flutter app developed. Is there any question before we move on briefly to the deployment step? Okay. So in order to deploy our Flutter app, I'll come back to the slides. We just need to run these steps. This is tailored to Android because for iOS, it's a much longer process. I think you have to sign up for a developer account and stuff like that. With Android, it's a simple, the instructions are running these two steps. So we need to add this line, users permission, which is an XML tag in our Android manifest file, which enables internet access from our app, or else when we deploy it, you find that nothing is loading because internet is disabled. Internet access is disabled by default. So we need to enable that permission. And then secondly, we'll run the deployment step by following these commands. So let's do that right now. I'm gonna go into the Android directory, open app, open source, open main, and then Android manifest.xml. And what we want to do is to paste this command in here. I'll also paste in that for you guys. Ideally, you just want to paste it before line 9. So once we're done, we can save that. And then we are now able to deploy. If we run Flutter build. And because we're building for Android, we'll say Flutter build APK. That initially takes a while. Okay, does anyone want me to, I guess, reiterate on certain parts while this builds, because the first build of this takes a while. So
I just have a question. How easy would it be to build it for iOS?
right. So these for iOS, you would run Flutter build iOS. But if I run this now, yeah, we get this error because, like I was saying earlier, you need to create an iOS development certificate as well as provisioning profile. It's quite a number of steps, but I think that's just how Apple works, basically. But for Android, you can just do Flutter build APK. And you should be done from there. So with iOS, I guess the steps are a bit more involved, not necessarily on the Flutter side, but the fact that you need to go up and sign for a developer account and pay 100 quid euro, how much price is. Yeah, but if you're using Android, yeah, don't worry about this bit. We can build by doing Flutter build APK. So we successfully built it. And to deploy, you just need to do Flutter install. And then we can specify a device to install it to. So this device, you specify the display name for this device. So I'm going to deploy it to my mobile phone. The display name on my mobile phone is Pixel XL. If you want to know where to find the display name, just go into your settings. And if you hit About, the About menu item, on that screen at the very top, it will show you.
Can you not just, Jermaine, can you not just do Flutter devices? If you do Flutter devices, get rid of that. It will show you all of the devices that are connected. So that's the emulator and the phone. Yeah. Yeah,
that should, yeah, you're right. That can also.
Then that will have the name of your, that's the name of your.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and connect my phone because it's not. Connected yet. Okay, we run Flutter devices. Okay, so at this point we got that. Yeah, Flutter devices. Cool. So at this point we can do, because we've done Flutter build already, we can do Flutter install. And then I want
to explain at this point, right? Could you just do, now that you've enabled internet access in the Android manifest.xml, could you just install the dev version? So, just do Flutter run on your mobile device. Would that work? Because what you're doing is installing the production build. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's because we're deploying it to the mobile.
Okay, but you can deploy the mobile, but just doing Flutter run as well with that, with your Pixel. But that will just deploy the dev version.
Yeah, that'll just run this one.
Yes.
So it won't push the APK across. Yeah, it will just run this project. So what we want to do here is to install the APK that we built onto the actual device. So we can do Flutter install and we can specify the device with -d, and then the display name is Pixel XL. And then once I run that, it'll go ahead and install it to my Pixel device. That takes a while. Okay, so at this point we have it installed. And then I am going to run it quickly. Okay, so I've got it up running here, my phone. And let me just stream my phone so you guys can see as well. So I'm gonna close this emulator. If I run this, yeah, so this is what I have on my phone. Right now, I can tap to mark a program as a favorite, tap to unfavorite it, and stuff like that. And yeah, this pretty much is it for the app itself. I can take any final questions if you guys have got any of it. So let me.
Oh, can you go back to that page, please, Jermaine?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the app. I've got a screen I want to share. Hold on. With you guys, but yeah, that pretty much concludes the workshop. If you guys have got any questions now, do let me know. But if in case you want to reach out to me, I'm available at these channels. So on Twitter, I'm Creative Bracket. Same with YouTube and the website. So yeah, over to you, Jason.
Well, Jermaine, I'd just like to say thank you very much for a really good session. You really went into all the details of how to, first of all, you know, the differences between sequential and asynchronous programming and how that is actually played out in the context of a Flutter app. And then you went on to explain asynchronous wait and stuff like that. And these are some of the most, people see them, but actually not a lot of people actually understand the nitty gritty and the actual terminology. So it's good that you've gone, because these are the sort of the most complex, more complex part of, in particular, front end dev development. So this is fantastic series, and the fact that we could pull together definitely all the stuff that we learned in the first series, which was all around setting up the Flutter environment and working with lists, and then obviously bringing together the stuff that Roberta showed us in the last workshop, which was about state management and lifting state up and all of that sort of stuff. So all that good stuff is in there as well, and wrapped up with the asynchronous stuff and the public API calls, and actually connecting to a real API and deploying. So this was just fantastic. So I really enjoyed it. I hope everybody got some good learnings there and can go away now. You've all got the links, you can go away and play with it. So what we will need from you guys though, is we're going to get together and start thinking about the next series in terms of the next set of topics that we'd like to bring to the audience. So if anybody's got any ideas on what they would like to learn, so obviously we are a full stack house and we are multi-platform. So, you know, we can look at things in React. We can look at, obviously we've looked at Flutter. If you're interested, we can start looking at the back end, maybe some stuff like Firebase and stuff like that. So please do let us know in the Slack or in your feedback forms. Let us know what you'd be interested in learning so that we can work together to bring you the next series. So that's it really. And just thank you very much for attending, all of those that have attended. And we want to encourage more people. What we're about is encouraging more people to get involved in technology, more underrepresented people to get involved in technology. So we want you to spread the word, which is what we're trying to do. So we want you to, if you've enjoyed what we've brought to you today, we want you to tell your friends, bring more people to our events so that they can become, you know, so that we can have a proper community of developers that can go out and build the apps and the platforms and the products and services of the future. Yeah. So for me, that's really all I want to say. So I don't know if anybody else has got any comments there for Jermaine, or anybody just wants to make some comments about what they've learned today and over the other workshops. So to you guys. All right, cool. So I think I'll pass over to Andre to just close it out.
Yeah, thanks again for joining us through this series of Flutter workshops. I really hope you enjoyed them. I've shared a link to the YouTube channel for Untapped, where you can find the previous sessions there, and you'll find this session uploaded there over time as well. If you have any questions, if you want to continue learning Flutter, feel free to reach out to any one of us. We'll be more than willing to help. And yeah, please do keep in contact with us and keep learning Flutter. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening. And yeah, that's all from this Flutter series. Hope to see you again really soon.
Actually, I've got one last thing before we close off. I've got a Flutter series starting on Monday. There's one on YouTube, so that goes a bit more in depth from what we covered. So if you're interested in learning more, do check out the channel. Yeah.
Yeah, Jermaine, can you make sure you pass that on to Andre, and Andre, you can send that out as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. All right then, guys. So thank you very much, and I'll see you later. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks.